In C++, there's something called the struct keyword, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use this keyword. So let's start. Say you want to make a struct. Well, the first thing to do is to write the word struct. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now we need the name of the struct. So we need to pick something kind of generic or something that can be broken down into pieces. So let's just do struct house. And convention is to put the first letter as an uppercase letter and the rest lowercase. All right, so now we have the name of our struct. The next step is to include curly braces. So we can put one on the first line, and we also want to have a closing curly brace directly underneath the first S, followed by a semicolon. So now we have the basic structure laid out for our struct, no pun intended, and we can proceed to define the members of the struct, or the parts in between the curly braces. So what does a house consist of, or what would we want to keep track of in a computer program? Well, there are lots of different rooms in a house. We could say there's a kitchen. So we could say the house has a kitchen. Or we could actually keep track of how many rooms there are with an integer, which is a little bit simpler. So let's do that. I'm going to indent a little bit and write int rooms so that we can keep track of how many rooms are in this house, and we need to end this with a semicolon. Maybe we also want to keep track of the price of the house, which wouldn't necessarily be an integer, so we'll need a different data type. Let's use a double. So we can, I'm just going to use black again for double. Double price, so the house has a price. And we can also keep track of one more quantity, perhaps the location. So we can make a variable called location, and we'll also need to choose an appropriate data type. One way to do this is with an array of characters. So we need to use the keyword char for character or characters, and since I'm not going to initialize this to anything, I'm going to need to put the number of elements, and I'm just going to arbitrarily make the size equal to 256. And now we have created a struct with the members rooms, price, and location. Now, how do we use the struct that we just created? Well, suppose you have a main function. Within that main function, you can declare a variable with the name my house, and the type of the variable is house, which is the name of the struct. Next, we can initialize one of the members of house. So let's say we want the number of rooms to be 5 for my house. We can say my house dot rooms equals 5 with a semicolon. So now my house is associated with 5 rooms. And if we want to print out the number of rooms that my house has, we can use the printf statement. For example, if we want to use the printf statement, we'll need to have an import statement at the beginning of the code. So we can include CSTDIO so that we can use the following line of code for printing. So we'll have print f, open parentheses, quotation marks, my house, just in plain English, has, all right, well now I'm going to use a format specifier so that I can print the integer 5 and then continue with the sentence. This format specifier, by the way, is for this lowercase d is for integers. So since I'm printing an integer, I want to use the lowercase d. And all right, let's finish what I want to print. Oh, not pages. Rooms. Close the statement with double quotes. Put a comma. And now access the member using the dot operator. I'm going to use a different color here. I'm going to say my house dot, the member is rooms. And we don't need any parentheses or anything. Close the parenthesis, close the parenthesis for the printf function and put a semicolon. So that's how you use a struct in C++.